I'm Joe Chili, mornings from 7 to 9 at Buffalo's oldie station, the Big Weck. Joining me on the Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise today is Ryan Pais with Dobkin Tile and Stone.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
That's good. There are a lot of places, I'm sure, in Western New York where I have experienced Dobkin Tile. Do you actually go in and work with individuals? Like in the event somebody says, I want such and such in my house. Do they work with you, or do they work with somebody that you distribute to?
They can really work with both, right? So many of our distributors who carry our tile, and people in and around the Buffalo area would know the names, of Kenny Carpets, Lenco Lumber, places like that. They can go in there, view the products, get a sense of what we have. But what we're excited to offer and kind of what we're looking forward to more is getting more people, yes, to come in the business, consult directly with us. Particularly for larger projects. We have sales reps that are highly skilled in architectural and commercial design, so we can address those building needs. But we also have just an outstanding sales team in place in the building who is there to do some consultative selling, right? I mean, really to help somebody who's looking to do a tile project come in, narrow down their choices, get them the right thing the first time, and kind of take some of that guesswork out. So yeah, I mean, we're available, in the building for those sorts of consultations.
How did you get started doing something like this?
Yeah, so actually I went to school to be an English teacher, and
natural progression.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But I was also a musician. So when I got out of school, the career wasn't calling quite yet, and I was still doing music, and I started to get into retail management because it allowed me to kind of have a schedule that would accommodate both things at the time. So, I began with that. I spent about 10 years with Home Depot, worked all over the country in management leadership with them, doing training, doing specialty sales coordination. I worked in Oregon, Philadelphia, Buffalo with them. So that was a large part of my experience doing, building related trades. And at Dobkin, we just had, over the last year or so, there was a manager that had been in place for about 40 years. He retired. The selection team came across my resume, reached out to me, and we had a couple interviews, and that was the fit. So that's how I ended up in the tile business. But I'd had that decade plus of flooring experience from my years with Home Depot.
Your average customer, male or female?
Average customer is male, average decision maker is female.
I would kind of expect that, to be the case. Have you ever had to do something where you came in to do the project and it got changed before you started doing it? That
is unfortunately kind of a regular occurrence, right?
Really?
Yeah, there will often be last minute tweaks, whether it's in the design layout or sometimes with the grout color. I'm not going to say that it's, the preponderance of times that you have those types of issues, but I will say that it's not uncommon to have somebody in the late stages still be thinking like, oh, I want to tweak this, or maybe this color isn't right. Particularly extending the tile job, sometimes people will say, oh, we're going to do the kitchen, and then they realize that had they extended it through into the dining room or into some other area of the house, that it would have been more aesthetically appealing to them. So those sorts of changes do come up.
Yeah, I think that when somebody is going to undertake a tile project, what's the first step? And when you come in, can you give them a virtual idea of what it's going to look like? Because colors and things may look different on a palette than when you get into an actual house.
Absolutely. Right? So, we recommend, of course, that people come in, and those initial conversations are going to surround a few things, right? What area are they looking to do? Do they have color and design things in mind? What existing covering is there, whether it's on the wall or the floor, those sorts of things. So we usually start there, and then through carefully selected questions and listening to what they want, we can go from 1,000 options down to 5, by asking the right questions. So typically that will be part of that selection process. To the other point that you mentioned, that happens both ways. Sometimes people will come in and they have a more global idea, that they want to do these 2 bathrooms and this kitchen, and they want them to coordinate, which is great, and we're there, and we are more than willing to help and assist in doing that. And then we can do renderings, and we have room photos and things like that as a point of comparison. So that definitely happens. The other thing that can happen often is somebody has a kitchen, they say, for instance, and they love the way that the color looks, and they want to do the bathroom in something similar to complement. Well, due to our vast selection, we almost always can find something that, you know, coordinates or that works with an existing tile. I mean, if you're trying to replace the exact tile from 1940, like that might not happen.
Yeah, that would be kind of rough.
Yeah.
You know, I love what you've done, but I want to change the backsplash. No,
Yeah.
but I understand. So what should people do? We got about a minute left.
Yep.
What's the first step?
First step, give us a call. Stop into the store. You know, give us a chance to earn your business and to show you why Dobkin really is a premier place to do tile shopping in Western New York. We, you know, as somebody who has over a decade of experience in the big box stores, I recognize what the shortfalls are of shopping in those places. Often you can't find somebody that's in the department, or the selection's limited, or, you know, they have to wait and wait and wait for them to pull something down. With our service, we've eliminated many of those concerns. We have amazing consultative salespeople right in the front. Warehouse team is going to load you up on your last visit when your tile comes in. So, you know, we really try to make it a beginning to end process where we put the customer and service as the priority.
Ryan Pais, thank you very much. I appreciate it. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Dobkin Tile by calling 716-684-1200 or go to dobkintile.net. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by Dobkin Tile. And join me weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on The Big Weck.